Kṛṣṇascha Kṛpascha Samitinjaya Kṛpascha Samitinjaya Ashvatama Vikarnascha Ashvatama Vikarnascha Somadattistataivacha Somadattistataivacha Bahavak Shura Madarte Tyakta Jivita Nana Shastra Praharana Sarve Yuddha Visharada Anyecha Bahavak Shura Anyecha Bahavak Shura Madate Tyakta Jivita Madate Tyakta Jivita Nana Shastra Praharanak Nana Shastra Praharanak Salve Yuddha Visharadak Salve Yuddha Visharadak Anyecha Bahavak Shura Anyecha Bahavak Shura Madate Tyakta Jivita Madate Tyakta Jivita Nana Shastra Praharanak Nana Shastra Praharanak Salve Yuddha Visharada Salve Yuddha Visharada Tadasmakam Paryatam Darasmakam Balam Bhishma Bhirakshitam Balam Bhishma Bhirakshitam Paryaptam Tvidametesham Paryaptam Tvidametesham Balam Bhima Bhirakshitam Balam Bhima Bhirakshitam Immeasurable. Tat. That. Asmakam. Of ours. Balam. Strength. Bhishma. By grandfather Bhishma. Apirakshitam. Perfectly protected. Paryaptam. Limited. To, but, idam, all these, etesham, of the Pandavas, balam, strength, bhima, by Bhima, abhirakshitam, carefully protected. Translation: our strength is immeasurable, and we are perfectly protected by grandfather Bhishma, whereas the strength of the Pandavas, carefully protected by Bhima, is limited.
So Duryodhana is very proud of his strength, military strength, because he was in power, he could gather, and over and above that, Bhishma is the commander-in-chief. He is giving protection. And on the other side, the Pandavas, they were not in power, somehow or other, they gathered some soldiers from relatives. Therefore, their strength was limited in consideration of the other party, and that is being protected by Bhima. Duryodhana always considered Bhima as a fool. Therefore, he is very much confident that our side is being protected by Bhishma. And the other side, although Bhima is very strong, but he has no brain very much. So, he was very hopeful of victory. But in the previous verse, he says, Annecha bahava sura madathe takta jivita. Takta jivita means they have come to lay down their life for me. This is a foretelling. Because actually, whoever joined the battlefield of Kurukshetra, none of them returned Takta Jivita. So it is already concluded that although Duryodhana is very much proud of his military strength, protected by Bhishma, still Takta Jivita, they would surely die. This is the conclusion. Nana shastra praharana sarve juddha visharada. No, not a single person inexperienced was there. Juddha visharada. Visharada means very expert fighting. Still they would have to lay down their life because it is Krishna's plan that all these fighting men, they were not ruling properly according to the tenets of Vedic injunction. Therefore they are demons. Military strength for self-aggrandizement is demonic. Military strength is required to rule over the kingdom, but not to misuse them for aggression to others' country or others' kingdom. That was not allowed. So, when Kṛṣṇa appeared, there were many kings, although they were under the ruling of the Pandavas, still Hastinapur, still they were fighting. That is natural. If one has no Kṛṣṇa consciousness, then his strength and opulence would be misused. And if one is Kṛṣṇa conscious, then he would use his strength and opulence very properly. So these kings were meant for giving protection to the citizen, to train them to the Vedic conception of life. But they were not doing that. Therefore, they were demons. Although they are Kshatriyas, still Kshatriyas are meant for representing the Supreme Personality of God. Actually, Kṛṣṇa is the proprietor. Sarvaloka Maheswaram. Sarvaloka Maheswaram. Sridam Sarvabhutana. Gyata Mam Shantimicchati. So, he is the proprietor. Sarvaloka. Sarvaloka means all the planets, all the universes, because they are created by Kṛṣṇa, by Kṛṣṇa's bodily effulgence, Brahma-jyoti. So they are created by Kṛṣṇa's, just like from the sunshine, these planets are created. Similarly, from Brahma-jyoti, innumerable universes are created. Jasya prabha prabhavatu jagadanna koti kotishu asesha vasudhadi vibhuti bhinnam tad brahma nishkalam anantam asesha bhutam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajan. So, it is all creation of Kṛṣṇa. Aham sarvasya prabhava matta sarvam pravartat. Everything has come out from Kṛṣṇa's body, external. Therefore, he is the proprietor. If I have created something, then I am the proprietor. It is very easy to understand. In the Vedas also it is said, Eko Narayana Asit. Before the creation, only there was Narayan. In the Chatusloki Bhagavat also, it is said, Ahameva Asam Agre. So, before creation, there was Kṛṣṇa. When we speak of Kṛṣṇa, it does not mean Kṛṣṇa was alone. Kṛṣṇa means with his form, with his pastime, with his paraphernalia, with his entourage, everything. When we speak of king, it does not mean king is alone. As soon as we speak of king, we must understand the king, king's kingdom, king's secretaries, king's ministers, king's queen, king's palace, so many things. Similarly, when the Vedas says that Eko Narayana Asit, before creation there was only Narayan. So Narayan with his paraphernalia, with his expansion. Narayan has expansion in the spiritual world, Vaikuntha Jagat. Innumerable Vaikuntha planets. You have seen the picture. Innumerable. We have given only 24 names, but there are innumerable. So actually, either in this material world or in the spiritual world, all planets, Vaikuntha planets or Kuntha planets, here in this material world, Kuntha planets. Kuntha means anxiety. Here, in any planet you go, the anxiety will be there. This is material. Sada samudrigna dhiyam asad graha. Why anxiety? Because we have accepted something, asat, which will not stay. But we are eternal, we want to stay. Our natural position is eternity. So we don't want this temporary body. Therefore we try to save the body as much as possible. But it will not be saved because we have accepted something nonsense which is not compatible with our existence. The modern civilization, they do not know it. They think it that death is natural sequence, it cannot be avoided. No, it can be avoided. It can be avoided. But these rascals, they do not know how to avoid it. Although it is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, how you can avoid death. Birth, death, old age and disease, these are the problems. But they do not know how to solve these problems. They are simply engaged in some temporary business. And they are fighting, they are making plans, they are making diplomacy, but the real problem they do not touch. Neither they know how to solve it. But this Kṛṣṇa consciousness movement can solve it. These rascals may understand this fact that this Kṛṣṇa consciousness movement is not a sentiment, so-called religious movement. It is a scientific movement to solve all the problems of life. This is Kṛṣṇa consciousness. So in the Bhagavad Gita it is said, Takta dehang punarjanma naiti mameti. Punarjanma naiti. If you can avoid next birth means to accept another material body. Tatha dehantaram prapti. After giving up this body, you have to accept another body. These rascals, they do not understand it. So many defects in the modern civilization, full of ignorance, and still they are passing as great scientists, great philosophers, great politicians. Real knowledge they haven't got. So try to give them real knowledge. Tatha dehantarang prati. This is the crucial point. Dehantarang prati. One has to accept another body. So if you can find out a means so that you do not accept another body, then you are safe. Because as soon as you accept another body, janma, birth, then where there is janma, there is mrityu, death also. And between janma and mrityu, birth and death, there is disease and old age. So Kṛṣṇa says that taktadehang punarjanmanai. One can avoid accepting another material body. How? Janma karma medibam jujanati tattvat. Simply try to understand Kṛṣṇa. What is Kṛṣṇa? Why Kṛṣṇa appears? Why Kṛṣṇa takes part in politics? Why Kṛṣṇa? So many Kṛṣṇa's activities. So this is our Kṛṣṇa consciousness movement means try to understand Kṛṣṇa. But simply if you try to understand, you cannot understand Kṛṣṇa fully, that is not possible. Kṛṣṇa is unlimited. But to our limited knowledge, whatever is possible, that is stated in the Bhagavad Gita. As far as we can understand about Kṛṣṇa, if we simply understand Kṛṣṇa, his transcendental nature, his transcendental activities, dibbam, janma karma means dibbam. Dibbam means transcendental. It is not ordinary. Tattva, in truth, in fact, then you become free from this janma mrityu jara vyadhi. Very easy thing. Therefore, try to understand Kṛṣṇa. How you will understand Kṛṣṇa? Kṛṣṇa is so great. Sevanamukhehi jivbhado samiva spurattada atasya Kṛṣṇa namadi nabhaved grahyam indriyai. You cannot understand Kṛṣṇa by these blunt material senses. That is not possible. You have to purify it. You have to purify it. Tat paratena nirmalam. Simply by Kṛṣṇa consciousness, always thinking of Kṛṣṇa, all your senses will be purified. This is the process. Sevanamukhe hi jivbhado. And you can begin service with your tongue. Now this is also very surprising. By utilizing our tongue, we can become perfect. This is also unknown to the modern science. By utilizing the tongue, one can become perfect. Yes, this is the process. By the tongue, you chant Hare Kṛṣṇa mantra, and by the tongue you taste prasadam, you will be perfect. Simply by executing these two things. Do not accept anything. Do not allow the tongue to touch anything which is not offered to Kṛṣṇa. This is one item. And another item, engage the tongue always chanting Hare Kṛṣṇa. You become perfect. Is it very difficult task? Anyone can do. Hare Kṛṣṇa Mahamantra anyone can chant. And nice prasadam anyone can take. And actually it is happening so. How these European, American boys and girls, they are advancing, they are realizing. simply by that process, tongue. Chant Hare Krishna, take prasad. So you can introduce this process all over the world. Give them chance to chant Hare Krishna mantra. But it is difficult also. There was a cartoon that one old lady is requesting her husband, chant, 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 and the husband is replying, can't, can't, can't. There was a cartoon. So, we are requesting everyone, please chant, and they are replying, can't, still they will not chant. This is the difficulty. Otherwise, we can deliver all the people on this earth back to home, back to God, simply by this process. Chant and take prasad. These should be just like the other day. We held the festival, Ratha Yatra. Chant and take prasad. Organize this all over the world. They will be saved. They will understand Kṛṣṇa. Sevanmukhi hi jivbhado, Swam Kṛṣṇa will appear. Kṛṣṇa, you cannot see Kṛṣṇa, that is not possible. You cannot order Kṛṣṇa, please come, I will see. No. When he is pleased with your service, he will come. Yes, I am here, see me. That is the history. Just like Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj was meditating, and within 6 months he saw Kṛṣṇa face to face. So everyone can see, everyone will be able, provided we utilize the tongue. Sevanmukhi hi jivhado. Jivhado. Jivhado means beginning with the tongue. We have got senses, all senses, eyes, ears, touch, so many senses. But begin with the sense tongue. Try to control the tongue and engage in Krishna's service. That Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Sharira avidya jal jarendriya tahe kal. This body is a material body, and the senses are our greatest enemies. Jarendriya tahe kal. Out of all the senses, tar madhye jubhavati lobhomoy sudurmati. Of all the senses, the tongue is formidable. It is sudurmati. It has no limit to taste. I have seen in Japan, 20 miles away, they are coming to test some fried birds in the hotel. You see, they have got bus. The hotel has got their own bus, and they bring customers from the city, and they are coming after office hours just to taste some jungle birds fried. That is a hotel.
Wild duck.
Huh?
Wild duck.
Maybe, what it is. You have tasted? So the tongue is so formidable enemy. Simply for tasting, they will commit so many sinful activities. They will commit so many abominable acts simply for tongue. And there is a straight line, tongue, then belly, then genital. So if you can control the tongue, the other things will be controlled. Therefore, tara madhye jivbhavati lobhomoy sudurmati. Lobhomoy, it is very greedy. And sudurmati, it is very difficult to control. Just see, simply for tongue, so many slaughterhouses are being maintained. I have seen, those who are meat eaters, I have seen in the airplane, a small piece of meat they are eating, not very much. But for this small pieces, so many population, huge quantity of slaughterhouses being maintained. They cannot give us that small piece of meat. What is the difficult? They can make, the same thing can be made by milk, a milk product, or chana, what is called, curd? Cheese. You prepare cheese and fry it, you will get the same taste. But let the animal live, take its milk and prepare so many milk preparations. But these rascals will not do. He kill simply for this tongue. It is so strong, this tongue. They cannot give her this, it's a formidable tongue. He is demanding, you must give me meat. So they are obliged. And for this obligation, they are committing so much sinful activities, abominable activities, and becoming bound up by the laws of nature to accept a body within the 8,400,000 species of life, becoming the worm in the stool. They do not know how the material law is working. Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvas. Prakriti, nature is so strong, it is acting very nicely. So we have to become very careful. That carefulness, you cannot do any other way, especially in this age. Simply if you surrender to Kṛṣṇa, if you become Kṛṣṇa conscious, Kṛṣṇa will take care of you and you will be saved. Thank you very much.